In this video, we're going to work through endpoint, dual rate and exponential. So in the basic menu, click the toggle, and I've had it pre-selected at dual rate. I'm now going to click the toggle once again, and that takes me down into the dual rate menu. From here, I'm able to change the dual rate from this menu. Again, you're able to adjust this dual rate and set dual rate to one of the other buttons or switches on the handset for quick access while you're racing or up on the rostrum. Again, I can now scroll down, takes me to throttle for those more adjustments that I want to make. Come back out to select, press the back button, and then back into my basic menu up here on Model 1. I'm going to now select down to the endpoint adjustment, click that, and now it takes me down to endpoint adjustment and gives me my 4 options. Selecting allows me to go up and down to get it to the point that I need to set it at with my model. By scrolling down the toggle, it works through all of the various options there. Very simple indeed. Press the back button. Now we're going to go to the curve menu, which is effectively EPA, and in this menu it gives you quite a few options on how to select your exponential. So I'm going to go back to traditional Expo. Expo obviously takes away the harshness of your initial steering, and not only that, but it actually modulates it through the whole range, if you like. So if I now come down to the rate of exponential on my steering, and you can see on the top here that it allows me to select the 4 different options again of exponential. So I would side click the button, that's now moved it to throttle, side click the button again, goes to auxiliary and to auxiliary 2. I come back to steering, select my Expo, and now I'm going to change the rate. Obviously we want negative Expo invariably, although I've made a Horlicks and was running positive Expo for a little while. Oh, how dumb I may be. But this is a really interesting part of the menus. Obviously, as I select the amount of Expo, we can see that the graph is really a sort of a half moon there, and so it's affecting the kind of the first half of the graph, and then it starts to pick up to get you to your maximum steering in this case. So if I was to select it there and I now select the steering, you can see on the graph here the amount of steering that I'm applying. You can then kind of cross-reference where that point would be. And what's really exciting about this, and I'm just going to take this back to 0, I've always only ever used standard Expo, but on the Sanwa it gives you the option to alter the curve. So let's say the first 20% of your steering you just want to adjust. So that's where it feels like 25% of my steering is, and I want to just attack that area. With traditional Expo, that's not possible, because when you start to adjust the Expo here, it's actually still had an impact up here and here. So you can't isolate this region with traditional Expo, and I think this is a really great tuning aid that I've started to really play with. I go back to the curve, so I want to target just this first 20% of my throttle, my steering rather. So I'm gonna take off 6% on both of these areas. So now you can see that the rest of the steering has been unchanged. So the only area that my steering feels like it's got a little bit of give in it is just in that first 20% here. And then the rest of it is back to normal. Now this can be applied to your throttle, this can be applied to your auxiliary 1 and 2 as well. So this is a really great modification that you can make on your steering feels, which we know are really crucial when it comes to setting your car up and getting the most out of yourself. We have a third option on changing the Expo, and that's arc. With arc, you can change the point at which you want the Expo to come in. So let's say that right at the end of my steering, I want to have some exponential. So I can actually move my Expo point up to the very end. It will have an impact on the start as well, but it will impact my Expo at a different point of the curve. And again, I can find where that point is by just using my steering to get a detailed point of where I've set it. Once again, a really good option of tuning your exponential. So we've covered dual rate, endpoint adjustment and an exponential. Hopefully that's made sense. If you like the video, click the like button and subscribe, and we look forward to seeing you all next time.